What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? It's Wednesday, July the 7th. The joint is brought to you by Manscaped. Listen, summer's here, and you're ready to show off your beach bod. You're gonna show up with fucking hair on your shoulders, fucking poof between your legs. You pick up a chick, you bring her back to the hotel room, you're gonna stink like a fucking tzatziki sauce. Those days are over with. Get rid of those stinky hairs with Manscaped. We've just revealed the fourth performance fucking package. First up, the new and improved Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. I could give you a bunch of marketing mumbo jumbo, but this is skin safe technology, no anxiety. You shave your balls right over the fucking toilet. Right there, you pick up your dick, you hold on to your dick tight, and you shave right around that motherfucker. But the bottom line is this is designed to protect your fucking privates. Even my long balls don't get caught in these fucking things. And the blades are sharp enough to cut through the white hairs, which you fucking can't cut through like butter. Set the length of your trim from 1 to 4. If you're old school, they even made a fucking light for you. You could fucking shave your balls in the dark like a savage. And they added a travel lock and made it waterproof. So there you go. You could shave in the shower, blame the pubic hairs on your kids. I didn't do it, it's my fucking kids. Throw this in your fucking weekend bag and you're set for any situation. And it don't stop with your nuts. They also got the fucking weed whacker, as seen right there. It'll trim up your nose and your ears and your hairs everywhere at a 9,000 RPM motor. You know, this thing got fucking boogers out of my nose that have been in there since the fucking 80s. Remember that booger a couple months ago? That's because of fucking Manscaped. Then you got my favorites, the crop preserver, tremendous for anti-shaving ball deodorant. And you also have the crop reviver, which is my all-time favorite because it tones your balls and tightens your nutsack, and you could also put it under your eyes. I got fucking crop reviver under my eyes right now. Smoking! People like, you look like Cary Grant. No, it's the ball toner. And when you get the performance package, they throw in a travel bag and a pair of boxes. Who's better than you? But better yet, who's better than Manscaped? You're gonna watch them this week. When you watch the UFC, they're right there with the ring because they want every man in that fucking place to have nice, smell well balls. You understand me? You want your balls to be in tip-top condition, and that's where Manscaped comes in. So do me a favor. Get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. That's right, even you in India, cocksucker. Just because you got COVID don't mean you got to shave your nutsacks. Go to manscaped.com/Joey. That's 20% off and free worldwide shipping by going to manscaped.com/Joey. No more stinky hairs on your nutsack with Manscaped. Let's get this party started. We got the Lee interview, part 2.
Check 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint.
What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? It's Wednesday, the 7th of July, a beautiful day to be alive. We're back. What the fuck has happened in 2 days? Nothing. I had my guitar lessons. Listen, I am digging my fucking guitar lessons. It's the only thing that's, it's a hobby. Like I said, sometimes hobbies are better than fucking going for something. I'm 58. It's not like, I told Mike the other day I got up with the guitar for the first time. Like I always play it sitting down, you know what I'm saying? But I stood up with the guitar and tried to play it. Not too good. You know how sometimes you get up too fast and you get dizzy? Yeah, it was the same thing. Only the guitar was dizzy. Like the guitar was like begging me, sit back down. This is not fucking working. But I'm digging it. I know the beginning to AC/DC. I'm working on Cocaine by Eric Clapton. I wanted him to teach me a couple lines from Heartbreaker. And it's just fun. That's it. There's no expectations. I'm not learning how to read music. I don't want to join a band. I don't want to do none of that. It's, throughout this whole thing, it's just been a hobby. Like some people collect stamps. Some people watch porn. For me, this fucking house shuts down at fucking 9 o'clock at night. Like my wife and the baby are like, oh, we're tired. Okay. Go to bed. So what am I going to do? Come down here and watch TV? The same shit every fucking night. So I try to do different things. I make notes for Erica to write the book. This week we should be signing the fucking deal for the audio book and the regular book. We got 9 chapters under our motherfucking belts. Fucking Laughing Gas will be out July 16th at the ice cream shop in Studio City, and then we'll get it out to other stores. I will keep you posted on what stores, but you need to do me a favor. You need to go to @LaughingGas, 2 G's at the end, on Instagram right now. Just do me that fucking favor, @LaughingGas. If you're a fucking professional fucking head like me and you want this reef, it's going to be 31%. It's not too strong. It's not no Susquehanna. There's no Susquehanna in Uncle Joey's life. I don't like that shit. Even though I gave Mike some New Jersey Susquehanna the other day, and it was not Susquehanna. It was tremendous weed. I smoked a little butt of it, and I was impressed. It didn't take me to fucking Marsville. But, excuse me, it took me to where I needed to be. You understand? So it wasn't bad. My nephew gave me some Jersey weed. It was fucking pretty good. I want to run it by Mike. So at least Jersey's making a fucking climb for it. But you know us. We're always running with the fucking Zeke. We don't give a fuck. They're the ones that helped me put together the Laughing Gas. And, I've been smoking with them for 3-4 fucking years. It's tremendous reefer. I hope you enjoy it. Listen, I hope you enjoyed Monday's podcast with Syatt. We didn't lie to you. We taped 2 parts, and today we go a little deeper into what happened with the therapist and all this shit. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was great seeing him. Let's go to the video replay. Enjoy Syatt. Yo.
What's up?
It's been back. A long time. It's fucking Wednesday, cocksuckers. I wanted to do this in 2 parts. So we were talking about, when we took off on Monday, we were talking about you getting into therapy.
Right.
And I started seeing your mood getting a little darker. You were getting darker. You were having trouble sleeping. And that's when I was taking a look at that podcast and feeling the weight of it.
I'm sorry. I feel bad that.
No.
Okay.
I don't want you to apologize. Because by you going to therapy, it opened up my mind.
Okay.
It opened up my mind to think about, what the fuck? This poor kid's in therapy. What am I doing to him? Where is his mind going at night with these edibles? All of a sudden, there was an air of guilt to me. I had this guilt to me. And the other guilt was, this kid's been doing this for 6 years. I think you were about to turn 30.
Probably, yeah.
At the time.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what, man? I'm 50-something. I've done time. I've done this. I got my dick sucked behind the church. You do all these things, and you're proud of some of the stuff, but you're not proud of some of the other stuff. You weren't doing any of those things. I was encouraging you to going out. You were getting paid. You had access to weed. You had access to fucking edibles. You had access to, you could have been your whole new Cosby. You could have just dumped fucking ABX in every chick's drink at a fucking bar and see who passes out first. But, you weren't doing those things. In fact, you got even more isolated. And on the flip side of that, I was doing the same thing in my house. All those edibles and all that shit and all the stupidity from the podcast, from the people canceling to people not showing to, I was thinking of this one fucking girl, don't mention her name,
Okay.
that got to the podcast late. And then she had the balls to look me in the face and go, oh, by the way, I don't do any longer than 30 minutes on a podcast.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, I see her doing 3 hours on Rogan. And you're like, you can't win. You try everything you can. I knew the girl for years. I was always very sweet to her. We had a great relationship, doing comedy. And all of a sudden you come in here with that attitude. It was all those things that made me think. I mean, and then you got into comedy. And I didn't know where that had come from. You wanted to do comedy and you were really working it. You were heading out to the fourth wall. You were really doing it. On the other hand, I was feeling guilty because I couldn't take me with you, because I had you with me all week. Now I'm going to take you with me on the road and we're going to really fucking hate each other. You know what I'm saying? And I got Dean Delray. I got all these other people who are at a different level who also needed money. So I wanted to spread the wealth, I wanted to spread it around all my friends. When you started doing comedy, I got really nervous. Because
really?
Now, you were going to different spots at night, and I always felt I was a little responsible for you. Like, things you didn't know when I was coming back from the store, I would drive by your house just to make sure your house wasn't on fire. And
I remember one of the angriest you ever got at me was one of our first sponsors. It was Hulu. Was having a party at Comic-Con in San Diego. So I took my ex down there, and Red Band was having a show, and it got back because I had a couple drinks before the show, and it got back to you that I had driven home drunk from San Diego, which I didn't. I had like a couple drinks before, but then in the 2 hours of the show, I had sobered up. And you called me like angry, but like out of love. Like you would always do that. There was a lot of times towards the end, especially during, I guess not right before COVID and a little bit after, is you would just show up at my apartment and we would take an edible, like sit in the car for 10 minutes. Like you brought me Cuban fried rice a couple times. Like you did care about me. And then like you would always get like nervous if I was going on the road, like driving a long ways. Like I think if people thought about you, they might think like you don't really get nervous, or like, not that you don't care about people, but like you get actually like really, like I would call you like when I got home from places, like I'm home, don't worry about it. Like you would, and you might say it in a funny way, like don't go down there. What are you going down there for? But like it's coming from a place of like, I don't want you to get hurt. Like I remember I drove Uber for like a month. And you really didn't like that. You're like, what am I going to tell your mom if someone stabs you in the heart?
Yeah. He's driving. Why is he driving Uber? You're paying him, Mike leaves here, and I tell Mike the first thing, when you get home, hit me back.
Right.
Whenever I go out at night, I drive by Jimmy's house. I drive by Christina's house, all my friends, just to make sure there's no creepy people in front of there. You were on my watch. I was on your watch.
Yeah.
And I wanted that love to come through the screen. I think that's what people appreciate the most about the podcast. That's what people hated when I first came back with Zoom. They didn't see the love across the stream. That's why I got to tell people, I can't put people on Zoom if I don't know you.
Right.
I'd love to get you on. You're very interesting, but they got to feel that connection. I cared about you. I wanted the best for you. And at the end, like when the pandemic hit, do you remember us having a fucking specific, I want you to tell me the truth, a specific talk, maybe the beginning of April, where we both looked at each other and we said, a lot of things are going to change from this pandemic. People are going to change their minds.
Oh, there was like 2 or 3, at least, if not 4 podcasts about that like very topic. Yeah.
Did you ever thought that it was going to be us when we were having those conversations?
I didn't pre-think it at all, but like I said last week, you made it very clear from like almost the beginning, as soon as you had Mercy, that you didn't want to raise her in LA. So when you called and told me that you were leaving, I wasn't shocked by it. When I remember around March, when like you started to hear about it in Europe and Asia, and it wasn't really here yet, and like I would take walks with Steve Simone and Jimmy Schubert, and we would talk, and even the president said, "Oh, we'll be gone by Easter," and then we thought maybe by July it'd be over, and then it got to the point where like already before then I wasn't doing much, and then there was literally like we probably weren't even supposed to be doing the podcast. I think I even asked you that once, and you laughed at me like, "Listen, we're still gonna do the podcast." But like that was the only time we were leaving the house, from like the middle of March or April through August when we were there. It was all we were doing. And to be honest, it make like I wouldn't have said I'm leaving for fuck the podcast, but it makes sense. Like it didn't make sense to keep living like that, and it just ended. Imagine if we'd been there till April of this year, living wearing masks on the podcast. Guests didn't want to come. I mean, it would have been awful. It would have been terrible.
The way I looked at it was, I looked at what we had done. I looked at the situation in my house. You know, my daughter wasn't in school.
Right? You hated that.
It was weighing on her. It was weighing on my wife. It was weighing on me. Comedy was weighing on me. You know, when you go to pee in the morning and you have a knot in your stomach because you got to go to the store, or the only thing I really enjoyed was that office and that podcast. You know,
Yeah.
It was great to go there at night and find the fucking pill. You know, what kind of pill? You got no computer to see what MMD is, so
You wouldn't have looked it up anyways.
yeah, I wouldn't have looked it up anyway. You know, they were all great things, but all good things must come to an end.
Right.
And the name of these 2 episodes is Living in Hell and Not Knowing It. We were living in a hell, and we didn't know it. You know, I lived in hell, and I didn't know it before I went to prison. I lived in hell, and I didn't know it while I was married the first time. And I think the last 4 years of the podcast, we lived in hell and had no idea we were living there. I mean, it's so weird to say this, until the day that I threw the table off the fucking thing to Salami and Brett, and we were done with the boxes, and Damon was helping us pull down the things. When I ripped those walls off, I was like, we were in hell in here. This was just a different form of a prison. You know, when Chris Cornell sings "Fell on Black Days," he talks about doing time. He wasn't talking about doing time. He was talking about doing that mental time. Something's weighing on you. Something was weighing on you. The thing that was weighing on me the most was, 1, we had done 800 episodes. We had nothing else to prove. 2, I could see that if you stayed a little longer, I thought something bad was going to happen. Either you would snap, call me one day and say you can't do it no more. I could see you slowly going into a depression. It was a slow depression. I was calling you at 10 and you were just waking up. You couldn't sleep at night. So all these things were weighing on me. Then I thought about myself when I was 21 and I was making good money and I thought I was having a good time being a bookie. I thought I was cool and shit. And I go, I can't keep doing this the rest of my life. This is not going to work out. I'm not going to get a resume after this. You know, what happens if I do this till I'm 31? This was funny because here I was 21, and I'm like, what if I do this till I'm 21 or 31? What happens if they get busted? How am I going to get another fucking job? You know, how the fuck am I going to get another job? Who's going to hire me? Nobody. I got no fucking work history. So I started looking at you, and then July 12th was when fucking fucknut Newsom said there's not going to be any fucking school for the rest of the year. And that devastated me and my wife, and I took my wife in the other room, and I remember saying, I spoke to Jimmy Florentine, his sister-in-law is going to call you, we're going to buy a house. And my wife going, so what are we going to do? I go, we're just going to pick up and leave and move, and we'll get Lee an apartment. You know, and I remember calling Jim and going, Jim, do you think she could find Lee an apartment? And Lee goes, and she goes, she's going to find Lee an apartment, but it's going to be 4 towns over. This isn't an apartment town, you know? And I'm like, fuck. He's going to have to be like an Old Bridge or fucking, you know, Genghis Khan or whatever the fuck town this is, you know. So I started thinking about it, and I go, wait a second. This fucking kid is living in hell. Doesn't take a genius. You didn't want to date anymore. You were eating to kill the pain, the same pain I was killing with the fucking edibles and the fucking Xanax. You know, I had that Xanax for fucking 20 years in my house. Never ate a Xanax before. Started watching World News Tonight, and my panic went into, I remember nights that I would get in the car, get out of the car, get in the car, get out of the car. That's not normal. That's not normal. This is the first time I'm exposing this on a podcast. There was nights that I would get in the car, out of the car 10 times, and then I would just sit on the couch and try to get my composure to me and tell my wife to bring me ice so I could put it on my forehead.
Yeah, you never told me that.
And she'd go, you got to go do the podcast. Go. You know, like I had all those episodes. Another night I had that when I was going to a UFC fight at my friend Todd's house. You know, I was just the fear of the fucking, you know, I didn't want to die, and I didn't want to give it to you, and I didn't want to give it to a guest. I didn't know if it was real. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So, but back to the situation with my wife, I told my wife, I don't think I'm taking Lee. I'm not doing him any favors. I'm not doing Lee any favors in this life. He's in a rut. I'm in a rut, but I'm in a different rut. I was in a way different rut than you were. I was enjoying doing the podcast. I thought we were going a little overboard with the drugs. I couldn't believe what I was smoking.
Right.
You know, I started looking at what I was smoking and knew that this wasn't going to end well. You know, I have stomach problems today, little noises and shit I hear from time to time.
Really?
You know, what do you think you're going to hear after you eat 10,000 fucking edible stars that have that Serto in it or whatever it is to hold that gel together? You know, that's got to not be good to you. You know, I mean, we were eating everything. There wasn't anything that we didn't put. We were drinking. I reminded you of the tubes the other day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
Those
God.
horrible,
like little 5-hour energies of those.
Yeah, they were
pure
like 5-hour energy, pure THC, 100% tube. You know, we were talking about that the other night. I mean, there were just so many fucking things we were doing wrong. But the thing I felt I was doing the worst was, it's like what you said. You know, I was bringing you Cuban fried rice, which is 20,000 calories on its own.
Well, you did that like twice. It wasn't like every day you were bringing that. And I mean, the edibles, you always thought, I feel like I hurt your feelings a couple of times. You always thought when I would say, oh, I'm gaining weight because of the edibles or partly because of the edibles. I'm an adult. You didn't force me. I mean, and you eat edibles and you didn't gain weight.
First of all, I didn't give a fuck about your weight gain. I had my own problems. I was going home and eating 6 salami sandwiches, 3 apples, a bag of Pirate's booty,
right,
Swiss cheese. I haven't touched salami since October.
Damn.
I was going through a pound of salami every 3 days. Like, just go home at night and start with a salami, a piece of salami, 2 salamis, 3 salami. I got no bread. And then I would eat fucking 2 salami sandwiches, you know. I would stay up till 3 in the morning and get up at 7, you know, and walk around with Mercy and think that was okay. No naps all day. You know? And then going into the toxicity, which is comedy.
Yep.
You know, I was poisoning my body. I was poisoning the Temple of Doom. And on top of that, I'm fucking toxic from these fucking desperate people that are walking around you, you know, always trying to get something from you, always trying to come into you on a light. And it got to the point where I didn't know who was who anymore. I loved you. I loved Steve. I loved Jerry Rocha. I loved D'Agostino. I mean, you young guys were the guys that were the glue in my life. You know, Eric Rocha. You guys were the glue. Mike. The fucking stars of comedy and those guys, they were just, you know, hi, it's great to see you. Oh, my God. How is Toledo? Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You know, it all sucks. We were all lying to ourselves. I was lying to myself. I was saying to myself, oh, I'm having a good time. This is what I should be doing. Until I found myself on a plane Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. I would get off the fucking plane on a Sunday and my back hurt for fucking 2 days. You know, and then I'd have to go work out and all this shit. But the final thing was, Lee, I just wanted you to have a normal fucking life. And I wanted your confidence was low.
Yeah.
My confidence was low. I needed your confidence to come back. You were a happy fucking kid when we started. I remember when we went to see Grudge Match at the movie theater with fucking salami, all of us, we were happy fucking people.
Yeah.
That had disappeared. That podcast, we took the podcast and turned it into a job. You know, that's why I couldn't take a fucking week off. I felt that people fucking depended on us, you know. But then you put the podcast out and tell Lee to fix the fucking hearing.
Yeah.
I can't hear the fucking thing. You got too high. You shouldn't have worn an Atlanta Braves shirt on. It was like, we're giving you content for free.
Right.
And you're still fucking bitching, you know? That's why now I do what I do. I don't give a fuck. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, go watch the other fucking podcast. Go watch Disney Plus. I don't give a fuck what you fucking watch. I really don't. You're taking it or you're not taking it. Well, I can't hear it. It's not perfect. Well, nothing is. It's pirate fucking radio, you fucking morons.
Right.
I know 3 guys that work at Sirius. They're doing their fucking shows on their phones. Nobody's going into fucking Sirius building. It's a ghost town. Go to Sirius in New York, bang on the windows. Ain't nobody gonna answer the fucking door for you.
Right.
This was pirate radio since day one. This was not WPLJ or WNEW or Sirius. We weren't supposed to be fucking a fucking $20,000 operation. But that also happened to specials. People started you have to have $300,000 to shoot a special. My friend shot one for $8,000 and it's got 1 million downloads on fucking YouTube. What are you talking about?
I remember you hated whenever you saw the crane shot. Every time you saw the crane at any of your tapings or anywhere, you're like, I hate that. Why do we need a crane?
What do we need a crane for? It's a camera, straight up. Why are we fucking, you know? And then I read Keith Richards' book. He does a whole chapter on live music. That we've gotten so fucking smart, we've forgotten about fucking live music. You know, they forgot how to wire the fucking drums to do live music. Because everything was so technical. Everything was so fucking technical, we forgot. You know, people wanted perfection at all levels, and it's pirate radio, guy.
Right.
It's pirate radio. I saw when Joe opened up his thing in Austin. I read the remarks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like it. It's a bubble. Shut the fuck up. When you do a podcast, then come talk to me. When you do 800 episodes, then you come and tell me whatever the fuck you want. Until then, you got to suck my dick.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
it. It's that simple. 800 fucking episodes. They all got over fucking, you know, 100,000 views on them, and you're still fucking complaining. That's the non-gratitude. And during COVID, it got worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because people
It
were
got
home.
worse. It got really worse. I didn't see it just wasn't pleasant anymore. People weren't happy, and that's why I wanted to keep doing the podcast, because I wanted just to just give them 1 hour that we would goof around, and just talk shit and grab a joint and don't get away from the fucking news. And I was watching the news also, getting scared to death.
Yeah.
But I never wanted you to think that I didn't love you. I never wanted you to think that I got rid of you. What I did was I wanted to give you a fair chance at life. In 8 years from now, and you call me and you go, hey, dog, we got to start a podcast up. I gave life a chance. My wife dumped me for a lesbian. I can't get my dick sucked. It's time to do a podcast. I'd love to do a podcast with you. I'd love to. This would be great. But at that time, we needed to end it to move on with our lives.
Oh, absolutely.
And what has happened? Let's go over what has happened. We both have podcasts.
Yep.
Guess what? We're under the radar. Nobody gives a fuck about what we say no more. They're all focused on the big guns, right? You got healthier, right? You got healthier on your own. No drama, no nothing. You do it by yourself with a bunch of Patreoners. You started a Patreon. You started a podcast. You bang some Jew broad. You got a couple Jew broads up in Milwaukee. You got those fucking Viking Jews that,
Yeah, they
don't like the East Coast.
Yeah.
They like the cold weather. You got those Viking Jews. You know what I'm saying? They don't wear a yarmulke. They wear a yarmulke with like a stocking. It's the whole fucking thing. Everybody wants to be fucking Barbra Streisand in that movie Yentl.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm really fucking proud of you. Like, I'm really fucking proud of you that you kept it going for 10 months. You didn't give a fuck. You got yourself a little fucking office. And I knew this was going to happen. I did not know I was going to cut down on the marijuana.
Yeah, I would never have guessed that.
The dog, please. I did not know I was going to cut down on the marijuana. I did not know I was going to cut down on the edibles. I did not know that I wasn't going to go back to stand-up right away. I definitely needed a fucking break from that and the bullshit I was going through with that. And I definitely didn't know that I would end up a little sad at times, a little bored, a little lonely at times. But you know what? It all worked out,
Yeah.
Friday night I went to eat with some families. This is Wednesday today, so Friday night I went to eat with some families, and one of the families, their husband works a lot. Great guy. I love him to death. Great guy. But he didn't make it to dinner. And she was there with the two kids. It was great. We had a great time. The kids were running around. We took pictures. And they had real Japanese people at the steakhouse, by the way,
Oh,
which
nice.
I was in fucking awe. No fucking Mexicans with Scotch tape on their eyes, not like Benihana in L.A. They were making choo-choos. The guy was shooting sake in my fucking mouth. I almost puked and shit, with like a butter thing. I was like this. My daughter was proud because they threw up cucumbers, and me and my wife caught them in the first try, like seals and shit. And then I told my wife we were both in the circus in Cuba, and she's like, "That's a lie. That's a lie. You and mommy never worked in a circus." I'm telling you, we worked in a circus in Cuba. But I noticed that dude missing from the table.
Yeah.
And that used to be my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing she says is, "Excuse my husband. He's got to work at 11 o'clock tonight." And he figured he'd get a couple hours of sleep before work. He works 11 to 8. And right away I thought about my wife. And this is what my wife was doing for the last fucking 10 years. Going to things by herself. She was like fucking the guy from The Godfather that represents Vito. She was like whatever his name is.
Consigliere?
Yeah, she always had to show up to things, and by herself with my daughter, for 3 weeks. I went to New York. She had to do it. All those things started to bother me when I got here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. Like, it's okay. So now I'm with her. You know, I got all the softball games. I want to be a part of her life, especially these crucial years. Stand-up will always be there. Uncle Vinny's, my favorite comedy club in the country, will always be there. The Borgata will always be there. Your boy up in Laugh Boston will always be there. Your boy at the Wilbur will always be there. If I want to do it, I'll do it. If not, I'm not. But my biggest fucking happiness is that you and I had a great talk 3 weeks ago, and we both saw where we were at. The love was still there. There was tons of love still there. It had just gotten interrupted by the drugs, and there was a lot of drugs. You know, none of them illegal, just weed and edibles, but it was to a different fucking level. We got to see the devil, which is very important. You got to see the devil before you can see God. And look, we saw God.
Yeah, it's I always said LA was like a business trip. I don't think anyone ever like there's a few people who like it, whatever. It felt like a business trip. Like you and I, like I spent more Thanksgivings with you out there than anybody. Like the fact that I got to spend Thanksgiving with my mom, it was the first Thanksgiving I'd seen her in 10 years. And then I spent 2 months. I spent my dad's birthday with him. I spent 2 months in Florida. I get to see my aunt and uncle a lot now. You would always tell me it's good to go back to your mom's or just to your hometown to like restart. And it's not where I would have like seen my life going at 32, but over the past year, I feel like I'm building a really good foundation for the rest of my life. I feel like I've gotten a lot. I didn't realize how big I'd gotten. I got really big. I wasn't doing enough stuff outside of the church because I would make excuses about oh, I have to be ready for when Joey wants and yeah, I mean we didn't have a schedule, but there was plenty of time for me to do other stuff. And even though I'm not like I'm still building some, which you always say, by the way, like you always say like 1 month you'll make 4, the next month you'll make 6, the next month you'll make 8. I'm actually building something for myself, and I get to have dinner with my mom every night. I get to like get healthy and mental health. Going back to earlier this episode and last week and last on Monday too, it's always been something I've struggled with, but towards the end of LA, it was a bad. I wasn't suicidal or anything, but it just things start to pile up, and when you're only focused on business, or when I was only focused on the podcast, and I didn't care about my health, and you're right, I didn't have any interest in dating, and I had friends, but they were all comedian friends. I just wasn't like a real person. Like I did a couple things, and I had a blast on the podcast for the most part. And yeah, there were times where I wasn't super happy, but it wasn't like anything that you did, or it just, you go through down periods. But coming back and doing this, it's not what I want my whole life to be. I'm by the end of this year, I'm planning on being out of my mom's house. But it's just been great to see that I can actually do it. Like even the losing the weight thing, and I think you can relate. I've always given up. Like you had Bobby Kelly on your podcast a few weeks ago, and he has a joke that I love, that he says he's on his 6th fat. And I've always given up at like 70 pounds, or like that would be like the top. Most times I would lose 10 pounds and I would have a bad day, and I would just say, fuck it, who's going to care? But just, it's proving to me that I can do it. And if I can lose 100 pounds, then I can definitely build a business. Then I can definitely find a wife. Then it's just I was always very focused on money, and I still am, but it, it's good to have goals that aren't related to that, and to prove to myself that I can do things and build, like you said, build up my confidence. And it's as fucked up as this last year was, I'm hoping that in 5, 10 years we'll look back at it as probably one of the best years of our lives.
My wife said it the other day best. She goes, I hate it what COVID did to society. I'm sorry for all the grandmas and uncles and people who lost family members. I got a call from my sister the other night. She cannot get, the lady who brought me in, she passed March 20th. It's going to take 12 weeks to get the rock engraved, the headstone,
Jesus.
because they're backed up from COVID, all the COVID deaths. You know how chilling that is to even say on the air? They're backed up from all the COVID deaths. They're grinding out other tombstones, I really feel bad for that. But if you listen to that podcast from April, I also said there was going to be a silver lining to all this. We're going to have a tremendous silver lining. And the silver lining for you was getting both of your feet under you, starting your own business. I know you're doing well with consultations. You're building a studio for people. You're really going after it. And for me, it was seeing my family, looking at them, knowing that, let me tell you something, comedy as a hobby was a lot better than comedy as a profession.
Right.
And when I do go back, when I'm ready, it's going to be more of a hobby. It's not going to be a profession. It's not going to define me. It was too much. It was too much. I look at Instagram now and I see these comics, taking pictures, and it's like it's too much. That's not what we were programmed to do. They're programming this desperation in you and this neediness in you, and I didn't like it. That was the weight I lost. That was the real weight I lost. It's not the physical weight. I lost that weight on my shoulders that I couldn't do nothing without picking up an envelope. That's a great statement, but it's really not. You should be able to want to go to Uncle Vinny's on a Tuesday night and do a guest set just for the sake of it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I was going to the store and picking up $15, but I was also picking up a nice envelope in the main room. That's why I was going there. If it was just for the $15, I don't think I would have gotten. Maybe I would have, because it's the Comedy Store. I want to reteach myself. I'm looking for a pizza place that has an open mic.
Right. Oh, I'm sure
that has 8 people in it. I'm going to start one. Just a pizza place. Listen, let me come in here on a Tuesday, put 8 people in here, because that's all I want. A pizza place like Rick Dukeman used to have. Rick Dukeman's mother lived in Ohio, his mother-in-law, and he would do Letterman and then drive to Ohio, and fucking his wife would go, "Where you going?" He goes, "I got to start my new set. There's a pizza parlor down the corner that does comedy. I really don't want nobody to see me.
Right.
I just want to get back into this fucking, thing. Not ready. I'm not ready right now, but I am so proud that because of you, I speak to a therapist now.
That's wild. That's great.
I speak to a therapist. I've made some great progress with her, as you could tell by looking at me. I still got my fucking problems, I still got my problems, but we're not where we were, Lee. And that was just 10 months ago.
It is crazy how quickly that went by.
It's 10 months ago. I mean, we did the whole month of July, and then we did 8 episodes in fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah. We moved to both of our houses. We moved the studio, and then we had episodes right up until the last week of August. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we even did 2 of them without like a wall. We only had like a wall.
We did like 4 of them. We had like beach chairs that we were sitting in.
That's right.
We had beach chairs. We were like, I was resting the cameras on like a box or something. Like it went. It was kind of a cool way to end, as weird as it was, because it kind of brought us back to like when we first started it. We were using Lysol wipe bottles as tripods for the webcams, and it sort of ended that way. Like it just we had some great, and then even I think about this a lot. Sam Tripoli came on towards the end, and we had a very emotional episode. But he even was saying, like to me, and I don't even know if you remember, he was like you'll go back, you'll lose weight, you'll get healthy, and it yeah, I just like my mom even told me when I first started losing weight, she's like, when you got home, I was worried you were gonna have a heart attack.
Me too.
It
Me too.
didn't.
We were very worried about you. And
Yeah,
you
it
knew,
wasn't good.
You knew we were very, very worried about you.
Yeah.
I kept pushing you to go to the doctor. I kept pushing you, and I came back, did all that stuff. And in fact, I got to go back next week and do more blood work. And
Oh Jesus.
yeah, but I'm okay with it now. Now
Okay,
I'm
you're not
to
scared of it anymore?
Let me tell you something. The last 6 months for me were not good, Lee. I had heart palpitations and insomnia and whatever. I finally, from advice from people, advice from my brother Jerry Rocha, nobody's got better advice to give you when they're staring at death, and my heart goes out to Jerry. I'm going to take some of the Patreon money and send it to him at the end of this month when we get paid on the 5th for his recovery. He's a great guy, and he did more for me than any therapist did with one conversation,
Wow, that's great.
But yeah, I'm happy I did the therapy. I'm happy I'm on the medication. I'm doing great on the medication. I think I needed it. 30 years of doing coke is not healthy for you. And then 8 years on looking for the devil, in search of the devil on the Patreon, on the church. What's happening now doesn't do you any favors.
Right.
And,
I mean, you're a real family man now. Like every time I call you, like I went to a softball game, we did this. Like you're basically a stay-at-home dad now. I mean, you're still working, doing the podcast, doing a lot of stuff, but it's almost like the nerdy guy from Back to the Future who's just like home and like you. I remember towards the end of LA, you got very upset even before COVID about being home at night, and you were like bored to. Like you had nothing to do in your mind and you were very bored, and you're doing less now, like less like comedy wise, and you're home more now. And you've never even said once like, oh, I'm losing my mind here. It's too quiet here. There's nothing to do here. It really seems like you're really enjoying it.
Lee, I never had a normal childhood. I never had normal teenage years. And I didn't have a normal adult life. I've been out since 1979 every night.
Jesus.
That's close to, 42 years.
Yeah.
I've been out at night. I'm 58 years old. You know what? Rich Voss had a birthday party last Wednesday at Tiff's, the Comedy Dojo.
Right.
I wanted to go in the worst fucking way. But I got to tell you something. Couldn't do it. Couldn't leave my family. Not yet. Not yet. I'm not ready for big social stuff. I'm hoping I'm ready for Guns N' Roses motherfucking September 11th in Atlantic City.
Oh, yeah?
That's what I'm hoping I'm ready for mentally, that I could go in there. I mean, I remember when you told me you went to Florida and you went to a Greek place, and the place had 300 people with no mask.
Oh, it was
and
terrifying.
You fucking ran out of there, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time for me. It's been great. I don't wear a mask. The other day, some guy was sitting next to me, double mask, and I got anxiety just sitting next to him. But what I wanted to say with these two podcasts is that you're my brother. You'll always have a space on my table. I don't want you at it. But you always have a space on my table because you were there from the beginning. I wanted you to have this life. This was the life you deserved. Not hanging out with a 58-year-old doing a podcast, hanging out with other old people. I wanted you with 30-year-olds getting your dick sucked, getting chlamydia. You needed to get syphilis. You needed to get crabs. You needed to get a tongue in your ass. There were so many things you needed that I couldn't provide for you.
Thank goodness.
You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't provide for you, that you had to reach on your own. And I couldn't tell you these things last August, and it broke my heart. Because deep down inside, I knew you were smart enough and you would put this together, that you couldn't keep living the way you were living, and I couldn't keep living the way I was living. And at the end of the day, it wasn't that we were enemies or bad for each other. We enabled each other. You know, that fucking guy called me last week with the sandwiches. Great guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Great. The spicy Italian.
Oh, I
He's
love
like,
that
hey,
sandwich.
I don't know if you know this, but we're shipping sandwiches across the country now. I'm like, listen, I'm 3 minutes away from the best sandwich in New Jersey, and you want to ship me a sandwich in a fucking box with dry pepperoni? What are you, crazy? Ship those to people in Cleveland who don't know better. And what'd you think about the fucking Subway tuna? I told you there was no tuna in that fucking Subway. They
You had
found
spies
everything
in that
but
Subway.
tuna. I just knew once I tasted it, the way it went down. That's not tuna. That's like a goldfish. There's a bunch of kids crying outside a fucking Subway. Where's my goldfish? Where's my goldfish? They've been serving goldfish for years, those cocksuckers.
That was one of the most upsetting things. Is you would have these theories that seemed way out there, but then like it would turn out to be right. I forget there was a bunch of them about like like the Subway one. About like the stray cats in Koreatown, you would say some wild shit to me.
You never saw cats were all over LA. You go to Koreatown, there's no cats, but there's a special on Mushu pork. What the fuck is going on here? What are you fucking kidding me or what?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's crazy. But no, I thank you. I love you too. I think you know that. I love your family. You really took me in at a time where I really didn't have anybody in LA. I had some friends from some of the TV shows I worked on, but in LA, if you live 20 minutes from somebody, you're not going to see them.
You're not going to see them.
And you always included me in holidays. You included me in you took me out. One of the last things we did together is on my birthday. You took me to the Honeydew, and you're like, I can't have you at home on your birthday. You treated my parents great. You let my mom come into the Wilbur that one time. My dad turned him into a zombie in Oxnard with the stars.
When we had to carry him out in front of Kishi and shit. He went knocked out. He went dog. He had one arm around Lee and one around somebody else.
Felicia,
and his little legs were dragging to the fucking car.
Because he took three of the Reds 375 and he loved it. We had a great time. Your daughter, I don't know if you remember this. Your daughter was maybe like 1, 2, maybe 3. And I came over to your place and we had spent some time together and we were saying goodbye on the porch. And she went in and slammed the door on me. She's like, it's enough of him. I got to see her. It's weird. To me, we spent a lot more time together before Mercy, but we really didn't. It was only a couple of years. And to see how happy you are as a dad is great. To see, like, I see the pictures of her winning softball is great. And just the fact that, and I said this to you because like right at the beginning, we weren't sure if I was going to Jersey. And I because you're someone who doesn't really make a decision until you have to. Like you're not like, you plan stuff, but it's like, you're the only one who really knows the plan sometimes. And I said it, I must have said it to you 7 times. I was just like, hey, I just want to make sure we're cool. If you had wanted to continue doing the podcast, I would have. But now, I mean, looking back at this year, I don't think there's even a question if we made the right choice. I miss you, and hopefully I'll see you soon in person. But I going back to what I said on Monday, I don't think you could have written a better quote unquote end. And there was only really an end to the podcast. We're still friends. You still bust my balls 3 to 4 days a week. You call me and ask me if I called my ex and if I licked an asshole yet. And it was just a great, because we were together for like 9, because we did a lot of shit before the podcast even started. And I wouldn't have made it a year and a half in LA if I hadn't met you. I would have been back in Boston anyways. So it was a great experience, and I love you, man. It was great.
I love you too. I'm gonna smoke this for you.
Oh,
Just to
what's
remind
that?
you, that's the devil
Oh shit! The devil
in
has
full
returned.
effect.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just so.
I don't have anything. Fuck it. You know what? Yes, I do. Hold on.
Alonzo Bowden gave me this. He brought it to me from Mexico. And he said he forgot to give it to me the last time he was on, so I said, fuck it.
I got for old time's sake. Fuck, I'm gonna have to cancel a date tonight. These are shout out to True Leave in Florida. They're 50 milligrams.
Fuck it.
Might as well take one for old times. Oh God, they even smell like weed.
What, do you think they're gonna smell like feet? What the
Well,
fuck
no,
is wrong with you?
They're capsules. They're fucking little red. Like this is the devil gives
Oh
you, so.
yeah. That's mixed with God knows what. Fucking the cats from fucking Koreatown.
Oh yeah. There's definitely cat piss.
If you're meowing tonight, now have you called Milkshake, any of the girls, to say hello?
No, Milkshake won't talk to me. The girl in Milwaukee.
Fuck her. She broke your bed. You shouldn't talk to her, that fat fuck.
No, we broke the bed. But the girl in Milwaukee, I can't believe I just took that. It's fucking 1 PM.
The church is back, bitches.
That's right. That was, oh my God, this is fun.
I love you, Lee Syatt.
I love you. And I want to give a quick shout out to Mike. Mike, you're doing a great job with the
Mike's
joint.
a savage.
Doing great with everything. Mike did the artwork for What Was I Thinking? And he's a great guy, has a great family, has always been a gentleman to me. And I'm so happy that you guys have each other.
And let me tell you something. The other day I told him, I go, Mike, I'm trying to save you some fucking energy, time, and heartache. I don't want you as a fucking co-host. Look what happened to my last co-host. He went off the fucking deep ends. All right? Stop with the fucking co-host. Sit there nice, because I don't want 2 co-hosts. I already put one guy into fucking Lululand smoking dope, and he smokes dope, and he's all right with it. He could eat 200 milligrams, but
and he's skinny. Mike, if you ever want to gain some weight, I'll teach you. We're going to McDonald's twice a day, and we're going to 7-Eleven and getting candy fucking every day. So you need to gain some weight.
When you told me the story about Milwaukee that you fell asleep with the fucking Nutter Butters.
Oh, and the Kit Kats in the bed, yeah.
In the bed, the Kit Kats, and you rolled up and you had fudge in your eyes like a football player. You like Gronkowski. You had those fucking things under your eyes.
Oh, I was eating. There were times I was going to the fourth wall just because I knew I could go to 7-Eleven and get candy or ice cream after. It was, that was the not good times. But now, like, I'm eating better. I'm gonna have to be fucking careful tonight with that thing. But yeah, we had as much at this podcast we talked about how some of the times weren't the best for us. When we were shooting the podcast and talking before and after, and you calling me at 6 a.m. for 3 years straight, telling me to get up, and like we had some, even if I wasn't happy as a person, I still had some great times. I wouldn't trade it. I learned. I had a life, and I think I might have even said this on the last church. I'm a boring person, man. I'm a boring person, and I would have never done a millionth of what we did on the church if I hadn't been on it. And it's just a great thing to have done. And the fact that I mean, I got to know you, and Simone is one of my best friends forever. Tripoli, it's honestly one of the coolest things about the pandemic is seeing all the people who are taking off, and Tripoli doing so well is amazing. Tim Dillon blowing up is amazing.
Fucking great.
It's just great. It's cool to see, like, Andrew Schultz, like, you know what? And I said this on a podcast. Someone who I think used to get a lot of shit, but I'm really very motivated by, is Brendan Schaub. The fact that all the work that he does, and Theo too, but Schaub has so many things that he's doing. He works so hard, and there's just so many comics get a bad rap for doing drugs and for being out, whatever. There's like, look at Ari, do all the stuff he's putting up. There's so many comics who, as an entrepreneur or a content creator, whatever you want to call it, that are just doing so much by themselves and for themselves, that it's just like you had Cassius Morris on here. Cassius Morris is a young man now.
We know him how long?
8 years, 9
How
years,
long?
and he's making his entire living from podcasting. It's and then look, seeing you just had Josh Potter on, he's blowing up. It's the thing that I learned so much from you is that because I had tried to start podcasts when I was with you, is consistency is really the most important thing. One of the things I love doing is looking. I go on YouTube and I go to like a really popular YouTuber, but I go to their first video and they look like shit. The lighting's terrible, the sound's terrible, but now they have 1 million subscribers. And one of the things that I always struggled with was I wanted things to be a certain way, or if I ran into an obstacle, I would just give up. And it's better. It's good to see that, man, if you just try it and it might change and it might adapt, but if you just keep doing it, good things will happen.
I feel the same fucking way, guy. This is it. This is it. Twice a week. You're nice. You do your thing. I'm not here trying to talk politics or trying to be a fucking genius. I'm just trying to open up my heart to people so they don't do the same fucking mistakes I did. And at least if they do them, they know that they can bounce back. That's what this whole movement for me has been about.
Right.
I love you, little brother.
I love you too,
I'll
buddy.
talk to you tonight. And this whole week was dedicated to Church Week. Fuck them.
I love
the
it.
first week of July, and it's your birthday this month, so we'll give you a shout out. Thank you for doing 2 episodes, and
of course,
stay black. We'll put them out back to back. Fuck these motherfuckers.
That's right.
They got the church reunion they wanted. I love you, buddy.
Love you too. Kick
Stay
that mule,
black.
Mike.
You kick that fucking mule, Mike. Give that Indian gin.
Love you, Lee.
Love you too, buddy. Love you, Joe. I don't think you can hear me anymore, but
Love you, brother.
oh, okay.
I'll call you later.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? So, I'm happy. See, you guys wanted the church reunion. Usually I tell you people to go fuck yourselves, but after that gentleman wrote that thing on Twitter saying how much we changed and how happy he was, and hearing a couple people, we finally got a little respect for what we did, and I'm really happy for Lee that he's moved on. I'm happy that I'm getting to work with Mike now. Mike's a fucking sweetheart. Somebody reached out to me that they want to pitch the album to the week to a television show because it needs to be done, and Mike needs to be the producer of it because he does a great job. But the thing about a TV show with music is you got to get rights from every fucking... I tried it already, guys. It's a fucking nightmare. But anyway, I don't want to take much of your time. I know that was a long interview that you wanted, and I try to keep the podcast up for an hour. I wanted to turn you guys on to this too today. You guys saw we used it at the end. This is going to be the official pipe of fucking Laughing Gas Reefer right here. This is tremendous. It's the devil himself. Look at this bad motherfucker. That's an NFT right there. That's Laughing Gas, bitches. And for you motherfuckers, have a great week, all right? We're back in more ways than one. Mentally, physically, spiritually. My dick is looking a little better. Hold on. Fungi toe report. Fungi toe report. We're getting better. The fucking tea tree oil is working. The other day I buffed out my nails. I buffed out the skin around the nails. I killed all the fungus. Tremendous. There was smoke everywhere. My wife came down. She goes, "It's dusty down here." I go, "That ain't dust, bitch. That's fucking toe jam. That's old fungi toenail stuff." I don't call my wife a bitch. She'll backhand me. But that's the way life is. Listen, I love you motherfuckers with all my heart. If you're on Patreon, the NFTs come out today. I think today. Yeah, Wednesday, the 7th. The NFTs will be out. And that's it. And that's that, guys. It was a great fucking week. I hope you enjoyed Lee Syatt. You're like, Jesus, we didn't see Lee for 10 months. Then we got to see him 2 times in 1 week. Yeah, that's how we do it here. You know what I'm saying? Always trying to strive to bring you the best and a good podcast, guys. I love you with all my heart. Do not forget, right now, do me a favor, go to @LaughingGas with 2 G's at the end, @LaughingGas. Michael put a fucking thing up here to say it, @LaughingGas on Instagram to follow us for sales, where it's going to be located, specials. We're going to start with California and Nevada. I want you to know what stores they're going to be at. And that's all I wanted to say to you guys. It was a great week. I'm feeling better. I'm happy you guys are better. Let's kick this fucking mule, cocksuckers. Have a great weekend. Now for a word from our motherfucking sponsor, Jack. All right, I love you motherfuckers. Thank you very much for watching. It was great to see him. He's a great guy. But hey, that's enough of that. Now it's a word for our sponsors. The joint is brought to you by Manscaped. Summer's here and you got to be ready to show off your beach body. Listen, I went to the beach a couple weeks ago. I had to shave everything. My chest, because I got white hairs. I shaved my fucking nutsack. And it wasn't even the beach. It was the pool, to be honest with you. Whether you're going to the beach, the pool, whether you're going to be out in public, you want to look good. I even used fucking my Manscaped to shave the afro on my knee. It works on knees, it works on balls, and it works on the area from around your dick. Listen, what we're going to do is this. I'm going to come out with the 4th generation, or better yet, Manscaped's coming out with the 4th generation performance package. First up, they give you the new and improved lawnmower, 4.0 trimmer. Fucking tremendous. If my arms were long, I'd show it to you. I'll give you a bunch of fucking mumbo jumbo, but listen, it's skin safe technology. The bottom line is it's designed to protect your privacy. You're not going to cut your dick off and throw it in the field, and the cops got to look for it. Even my long balls don't get caught in these fucking things, and the blades are sharp enough to cut through the white hairs like butter. You set the length of your trim from 1 to 4, and if you're old school, you even make the light brighter, you add a travel lock, and they made it waterproof so you could do it in the fucking shower. Me, I like to shave over the fucking toilet. You get deep in there, deep into the nutsack, deep around the dick pole, and you're ready to go. Throw this in your weekend bag when you go away and you're set for any situation. You pick some chick up or another guy, you could shave their fucking nuts or their fucking pussy, whatever the fuck you're into. I mean, it's Gay Pride Month anyway. It's ending, but it's Gay Pride every fucking day in my world. And it don't stop at your nuts. This summer, people are going to be looking at you from all angles, so you got to get the weed whack. It trims up your nose and your ear hairs with a 9,000 RPM motor. This thing got boogers out of my nose that have been in there since the fucking 80s. And then you got my favorites. The Crop Preserver. That's an anti-shaving ball deodorant. I'll tell you what, it works all fucking days on your nutsack. But this is the product. This is the fucking creme de la creme, creme, creme. You ready for this? The Crop Reviver. Oh my God. Woo. That's a ball toner. It tightens your nutsack very nicely. And when you get the performance packet, they throw in a travel bag and, ready for this, a nice pair of boxer shorts. Where are you going to get that action at for that price? Listen, who's better than you? Better yet, who's better than Manscaped? Nobody. I'm going to give you 20% off and free worldwide shipping by going to manscaped.com/Joey. Again, that's 20% off and free worldwide shipping by going to manscaped.com/Joey. If you're stuck in the fucking Delta variant and you're in England and locked down, fuck it. At least you can see the UPS guy when he shows up with your Manscaped, and you can shave your nutsack, your eyebrows, whatever the fuck you need to be in shape when the lockdown is over, all right? Worldwide shipping and 20% off at manscaped.com/Joey. No more stinky hairs with Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/Joey. I want to thank Manscaped, but most importantly, I want to thank you guys for having our back. I want to thank Lee Syatt for coming on and being honest and open. Do not forget, NFTs will be out today on Patreon. Also, sign up at Laughing Gas on Instagram, please. Immediately at Laughing Gas on Instagram. If you like smoking reefer, that's the fucking page for Laughing Gas, Uncle Joey's personal fucking reefer. It's mixed up with Ice Cream Shop. That's who's going to be distributing it out of Studio City. But if you register, if you sign up for at Laughing Gas, you'll know the other stores it's going to be at. and it'll make your life and easier, and you can see where the specials are. I love you, motherfuckers. Thank you for having the joint. Thank you for having mine and Mike's back. And we'll be back Monday, tip-top Magoo on the fucking 10th. My mouth will be hurting. I'll be going to the dentist, but I'll still be here. I love you, cocksuckers. Stay black. Thank you.